What's up, guys? Notorious here. Today, I'm going to be presenting you guys a little bit of TDM on Havoc. Let's get this video started. Now, this is going to be a pretty long video, so I hope you guys bear with me. But I'm going to be talking about the top 5 defenses of all time in NFL history, in my opinion. Since the 2015 Broncos are always being mentioned now as the top defense, I'm going to make my prediction. I'm going to include them on my list, but they won't be number one. I'll tell you who's number one. But anyways, I'm going to go with, the idea was because Gil Brandt made an article on NFL.com yesterday, as of this video, which was February 17th, is when he made this article. So he had his top 5 defenses, but I agree with most of them. But some of the ordering I disagree with, and one team he didn't include. I'm kind of disagreeing with that as well. So yeah, let's get to it. His top 5 defenses from 5-1 were the 86 New York Giants, the 2013 Seattle Seahawks, the 2015 Denver Broncos, the 2000 Ravens, and the 85 Bears. That's from 5-1. So yeah, but I'm gonna be talking all about it, and then I'll make my list as for my top 5 defenses. But number 5 actually, the New York Giants. This is what Gil Brandt said. I never put this one on this team on the top 5 defenses of all time. I might put them as honorable mention or top 10 defense of all time, but not top 5 in my opinion. I do have to disqualify myself just a little bit because I never really watched football at that time because I wasn't born. I was born 10 years later after '86, but I heard this was a really good team. I'm just gonna have to base it on Gil Brandt on his analysis of the teams. So that year they ranked second in yards allowed and third in points allowed. So that's pretty good. But you should be at least number one in one of those categories, and they weren't number one. They were close, but the playoffs, they shut down a lot of good teams. They shut down Joe Montana and the 49ers, the Redskins in the NFC Championship game, and they shut down Elway in the Super Bowl. And the geniuses of Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. It just shows you defense wins championships. Well, all these teams win championships, but they had a lot of good players: Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson and Carl Banks. But this seems like a really good defense. But I was gonna put the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers in my opinion. I think with Warren Sapp and Rondé Barber and John Lynch and Derek Brooks, man, that team was just fantastic that year. And in the Super Bowl, they shut down Rich Gannon and the Oakland Raiders. I think that was the first Super Bowl where it was the number 1 offense versus the number 1 defense, and the number 1 defense destroyed the number 1 offense. And that seems legit. And Tampa Bay, they just dominated the Raiders. I think Rich Gannon only had 5 interceptions in that game, and Derek Brooks returned 1 for a touchdown, and Dexter Jackson was the MVP for that Super Bowl. So yeah, I would put the 2002 Buccaneers over the New York Giants. I would talk more, but I'm short on time a little bit, so I'm gonna move on. And next up is the 2015 Broncos and 2013 Seahawks, and Gil Brandt had them number 3, number 4 respectively. And I'm gonna have to flip flop them. I think the Seahawks should be ranked higher. They should get a little more respect just because they shut down the number 1 offense in NFL history in the Super Bowl, 43-8 against Peyton Manning's led Broncos. And that Bronco team had so much talent there, and everyone on that team looked scared against the Legion of Boom. With Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and whoever the third member of that Legion of Boom is. And the front 7 did a really good job. And in an era where it's pass happy now, it's a quarterback driven league. They did a damn good job, of controlling the pass. They were probably the best passing defense in NFL history just because of that. And with all the quarterbacks they had to play with, and they just dominated that Super Bowl. I'm just gonna tell you that. And the Seahawks gave up a league low 231 points. That's really, really, really good. And they only allowed 14.4 points per game, and they only allowed 274 yards allowed per game in that year. So that's pretty much a big reason I'm going to put them at number 3 instead of the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, they had a tough run in the playoffs. They had to play pretty good quarterbacks too, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks just because they shut down the number 1 offense in NFL history. So yeah, but number 4, I'm going to put the 2015 Denver Broncos just because they shut down Cam Newton, and I thought Cam Newton was going to be the man for this game. And I thought he was gonna, not tear up the Broncos defense because I knew they were good, but I kind of underrated them. I didn't think they were gonna just take over this game from the get-go after that strip fumble touchdown earlier in the game. And they had really, really good players. Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, Bradley Roby, Sylvester Williams, Malik Jackson. They all contributed, and T.J. Ward as well. He forgot T.J. Ward. He made a big play as well, and this was pretty surprising. I'm gonna have to say, in a pass-happy league, they did this the old-fashioned way. Just complete defense. The offense was, pretty pedestrian in my opinion, and they didn't really do a good job, against a good Panthers defense. And the Panthers defense was really good in that game, and Peyton made it through, I think, 2 interceptions or 1. I forgot, and they had a couple of turnovers in that game, and the Panthers defense kept that Panther offense in the game, but the Panther offense couldn't execute. And Cam Newton, for that fumble, I think he should have went for it. To be honest with you, it could have made the difference between losing the ball, just flat out losing the ball, or punting the ball away with letting your defense do all the work. Because I would have gave the ball to I would have gave it to the defense. Panthers defense, they've been performing well, and you had to get something going. You didn't want to lose the Super Bowl. This is the time where, like, if you want to lay your body on the line, the Super Bowl is the game to do. If it's a regular season game, I might understand that, but in the Super Bowl, I was a little disappointed when Cam didn't go for the ball when I saw the replay. So it's whatever. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. But the Broncos, they've been good all year. We got to credit John Elway, as always, for getting all these players and signing DeMarcus Ware. That was probably the big signing for to help Von Miller. Von Miller just dominated that Super Bowl, and they played really good quarterbacks that year too. Not just in the Super Bowl, they played Big Ben and Tom Brady, and they squeezed one out against Tom Brady, and they squeezed one out against Big Ben. But anyways, they only gave him 44 points in the playoffs, so that's really, really fantastic. And although those are fantastic things, to point out, but the 2013 Seahawks shut down their defense in the Super Bowl, 43-8. That's all I have to say. So yeah, I'm gonna flip-flop those. And number 2, the 2000 Ravens. That's pretty legit. They did it the old-fashioned way as well. Well, their fashion back then was, the regular fashion. Because it wasn't a pass-happy league as it is now, and a team led by Rod Woodson and Ray Lewis, man, they were just fantastic. They were probably the best rushing defense in NFL history. The Seahawks, 2013 Seahawks, best in passing, but 2000 Ravens, best in rushing. And they only allowed 2 to 3 yards of carry, so it was pretty ridiculous for any running back to try to run over this team, and didn't really happen often, But it was weird because they were not the number 1 defense that year. The Tennessee Titans were the number 1 defense, but then they beat the Titans in the playoffs, I think, and then they just destroyed the New York Giants, 35-7. So they did all the work, and considering that their quarterbacks were Trent Dilfer and Tony Banks, that's they deserve some props for winning the Super Bowl on their own, pretty much. So yeah, they averaged 10. They only allowed 10.3 points, and they only allowed 247.9 yards allowed, so that was pretty good. So yeah, 2000 Ravens, pretty good. Last but not least, the 85 Bears. Do I really have to talk about this? I never watched them, but everyone puts them on number 1, so I'm gonna have to put them on number 1. With Buddy Ryan as the defensive coordinator, pushing all the buttons, and when you had Hall of Fame players like Richard Dan Hampton and Mike Singletary, you couldn't stop this team at all. 15-1. The only team that stopped them was the Miami Dolphins, but that's pretty much it. And they just dominated the playoffs as well. Most of these teams dominated the playoffs, but they put a beating on the New England Patriots. I felt sorry for the Patriots, but their offense was, okay. It wasn't, anything special. You got Walter Payton, so that was pretty good. But anyways, it was pretty good defense, and that was probably the best single season defense in NFL history. If you're talking about best defense in NFL history, you probably have to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you can't just pinpoint one year for the Steelers. You have to pinpoint most of the 70s for them. So 85 Bears, with all those Hall of Fame players and how they went 15-1 and just shut down almost every team that they played. Yeah, that deserves to be number 1. So my list is number 5, the 2002 Buccaneers over the New York Giants. Number 4, the 2015 Denver Broncos. Number 3, the 2013 Seahawks. Number 2, the 2000 Ravens, and number 1, the 85 Bears. So a little reasoning again. 2002 Bucks, they dominated the number 1 offense, the Oakland Raiders, in that year, and they had a lot of good players. And the Broncos, they had to play really good quarterback. That was probably the only time they had, like, out of all these teams I mentioned, that they had to play the best quarterbacks in the NFL that year. So Big Ben, Tom Brady, and Cam Newton. And the 2013 Seahawks, they shut down the number 1 offense in NFL history, and it's a pass-happy league, so they stopped the pass all the time. And the Ravens, number 1 rushing defense probably of all time, and they destroyed the plucky Giants. And the 85 Bears, nobody could stop them that year. 15-1, that was their year. So yeah. And that's everything, you guys. Please comment on this video. Tell me what you think the best defense in NFL history is. And yeah, but if you like this video, please like, subscribe, do whatever you want with this video. And I'm going to catch you guys up in another video. So yeah, live commentary or football talk, just anything. So yeah, I'll catch you guys up later. See ya.